Mahatma Gandhi and Indian national freedom struggle. Well, the role of Mahatma Gandhi in Indian national freedom struggle is considered the most significant, as he single-handedly spearheaded the movement of Indian independence. He was one man who was responsible for uniting the entire country. The reason why he is still revered as the father of the nation, because the mode, the medium through which he wanted freedom was non-violence and ahimsa. The peaceful and non-violent techniques of Mahatma Gandhi formed the basis of freedom struggle against the British. Mahatma Gandhi was born on October 2nd, 1869. After he came back to India from South Africa in 1915, where he worked as barrister, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, who led the Congress party, introduced Mahatma Gandhi to the concerns in India and the struggle of people. So if any person who guided Mahatma Gandhi to come back to India and fight for Indians was Gopal Krishna Gokhale. Mohanchand Karamchand Gandhi decided that he will come back and fight for the cause of Indians and get Indians the freedom. The Indian independence movement came to a head between the year 1918 and 1922. There were a lot of historic developments within these 4 years. Series of non-violence campaign of civil disobedience movement was launched by Indian National Congress under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi. Now this is one of the biggest movement in the history of mankind, which was completely non-violent. The focus was to weaken the British government through non-cooperation. The protest was mainly against abolition of salt tax, land revenue, reducing military expenses, because Britishers were using these means to exploit Indians. Champar and Kheda agitations were the first two major movements which started the journey of Mahatma Gandhi towards bringing India into the ambit of freedom. The Kheda Satyagraha and Champaran agitation in 1918 was one of Gandhi's first significant step to achieve India independence. It was the first measure to get confidence among the masses. It was the acceptance of Mahatma Gandhi as a leader among Indians. People started to follow him religiously. The way he taught people non-violence and ahimsa was seen as a great sort of achievement by the people. Because to fight against such a mighty power with the tool of non-violence is itself a noble thought. It was not only appreciated by Indians but also across the world. And that's why Mahatma Gandhi is known as the father of the nation. Mahatma Gandhi went to Champaran, Bihar in 1917 at the request of poor farmers to inquire about the situation as they were forced by British indigo planters to grow indigo on 15% of their land. And the remaining land, they had to use it for whole crop for rent basis. Now this was the suffering of a devastating famine. People were hungry. People did not have had food. The British levied an oppressive tax which they insisted on increasing. Despite famine, when people were not able to get 2 times meal, Britishers forced the Indians to pay more tax. And this is the time when Kheda Satyagraha happened in Gujarat. Mahatma Gandhi started reforming the villages, building of schools, cleaning up of villages, construction of hospitals, and encouraging the village leadership to denounce many social tribulations. Now, Mahatma Gandhi always wanted the grassroots to be strong. He believed on the concept of devolution of power to the grassroots, because once the villages are self-fulfilled and independent, the entire nation can stand together. And that's why the emphasis, the focus, the objective of Mahatma Gandhi was to reform the villages. Not only reform villages in terms of economy, but also socially, through giving up of social evils. And that's why he's called the biggest reformer in the history of mankind. Now, the British police arrested him on the charges of creating unrest. However, the impact of reformation changed after this act, and hundreds of people protested and rallied outside the police stations and courts. They demanded his release, which the court unwillingly granted. Gandhi led planned protests against all landlords who were exploiting the poor farmers. Finally, Mahatma Gandhi became successful in forcing the British to agree for his demand of reforms. And Britishers gave up to the measures adopted by Gandhiji of non-violence, and they acceded to the demands of farmers and started reforming the welfare measures. During this agitation, people addressed Mohan Chand Karamchand Gandhi as Bapuji, and he's even known today as Bapu. Rabindranath Tagore accorded Mahatma Gandhi the Great Soul title in year 1920. Another historic movement, which was non-cooperation movement. The Gandhi era in the Indian freedom struggle started with it. The movement was led by Mahatma Gandhi and Indian National Congress. This was the first ever series of nationwide movement of non-violent resistance against British oppression. The movement took place from September 1920 to February 1922. This fight was against injustice. And Gandhiji's weapon was non-cooperation and peaceful resistance. But after the massacre and related violence, Gandhiji focused his mind upon obtaining complete self-government. Gandhiji wanted to give time to Indians to come to the conclusion, come to the understanding that non-violence is the solution. He soon transformed Swaraj, or complete political independence. This under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi, the Congress party was reorganized with new constitution with the aim of Swaraj. Swaraj was to form its own, to become self-dependent and not rely on any foreign product. Mahatma Gandhi further extended his non-violence policy to include Swadeshi policy, which means the rejection of foreign-made goods. If Indian wants to use something, they will make it for themselves. They will produce it. And that was called Swadeshi movement. Mahatma Gandhi addressed all the Indians to wear khadi, self-made homespun cloth, and not use clothes made by British textiles. Once this movement spread across India, the Britishers came to know that Mahatma Gandhi is the biggest threat, and they started to oppose him. He strongly appealed to all the Indians to spend some time spinning khadi for supporting independence movement of India. This was a policy to include women in the movement, as it was not considered a respectable activity. And that is what the reformist mindset of Gandhiji worked on. He wanted the entire community of Indians to come together, including women, men, children, everyone to boycott British products. Gandhiji also urged boycott the British educational institutions, resign from government job and leave British titles. On this call, Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore resigned the title Knight from British soon after Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Now, when the movement reached the great success, non-cooperation movement, it ended unexpectedly after a violent clash in Chauri Chaura. This was the time when Mahatma Gandhi was arrested and sentenced to 6 years of imprisonment. And this was the time when Mahatma Gandhi realized that it's not the right time. People are not mature enough to make non-violence as the source of protest. Indian National Congress was divided into two segments: the extremists and the moderates. Moderates who wanted to work with the British government and get independence, and extremists wanted to use all the extreme measures and get independence at any cost. Further, the support among Hindu and Muslims were also breaking down, and that was a well thought strategy by Britishers to divide people of India on the basis of religion. Despite being sentenced to 6 years, Mahatma Gandhi was released only after 2 years. Dandi March, one of the historic, well-known and famous marches in the world, was conducted by Mahatma Gandhi on March 12, 1930. Gandhiji launched a new satyagraha against tax on salt. He started the historic Dandi March by walking from Ahmedabad to Dandi to break the law that had deprived the poor of his right to make his own salt. Gandhiji broke the salt law at the sea beach at Dandi. This movement stimulated the entire nation and came to be known as Civil Disobedience Movement. On 8th May 1933, he started a 21-day fast for self-purification in order to help Harijan movement. He wanted emancipation of Harijans, the downtrodden, the poor people. He did not believe in caste system. He considered everyone equal in the eyes of God and in the eyes of human beings. Mahatma Gandhi again became active in political arena after the outburst of World War in 1939. On August 8, 1942, Gandhiji gave the call for Quit India movement or Bharat Chodo Andolan. Soon after the arrest of Gandhi, disorders broke out immediately throughout the country and many violent demonstrations took place. Quit India became the most powerful movement in the freedom struggle. Thousands of freedom fighters were killed or injured by police gunfire. He called on all the congressmen and Indians to maintain discipline via non-violence and karo ya maro, do or die, in order to achieve ultimate freedom. On 9th of August 1942, Mahatma Gandhi and the entire Congress Working Committee was arrested in Mumbai. In view of his deteriorating health, he was released from jail in May 1944 because the British did not want him to die in prison. The cruel restraint of the Quit India movement brought order to India by the end of 1943, although the movement had modest success in its aim. After the British gave clear signs of transferring power to Indians, Gandhi called off the fight and the prisoners were released. Finally, in 1946, upon the persuasion of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Mahatma Gandhi reluctantly accepted the proposal of partition and independence offered by British cabinet because he wanted to avoid any civil war. After independence, Gandhiji's focus shifted to peace and communal harmony. He fasted for abolition of communal violence and demanded that Partition Council compensated Pakistan. His demands were fulfilled and he broke his fast. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was thus able to bring the whole nation under one umbrella to fight the British. With the technique of non-violence and ahimsa, he was able to bring a country together. We will study the struggle of Indian independence in the coming lectures, but this lecture focuses entirely on Gandhiji and his contribution towards Indian freedom struggle.